take 100. I've
Yeah.
had so many problems with my recorder. Me and James decided to do this again because it just kept cutting off and doing.
It's all the tests on humanity to try
The
and
Adjustment
trigger us.
Bureau, the Adjustment Bureau. Anyway, we've got 3 things to talk about today.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't already talked about it before.
This is it.
We're going to do, well, they're calling it Doggerland.
Yeah.
It's land where we used to adjoin to Holland. And we're going to look at the strange lines on the maps. And
The Google
then
Earth maps.
and then we're going to do Frisland.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play the video now. Be good, recorder. So, what a weird shape we would have been. And
Yeah.
Scotland is so big. That's the thing I noticed, that Scotland's a different shape.
Much straighter coastline on the east coast. I seem to remember, I think it's on BBC Radio 4 shipping forecasts, they talk about Dogger, Fisher and German bite these to the North Sea. So
There must be sand dunes there under the water, or dunes,
yeah,
now.
it'd be interesting to see where the shipping lanes are, which bits they actually go across and which bits they avoid. I don't know how deep underwater these land masses are these days. There's no way of verifying it, is it, apart from good old Google?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been taking some off of Wikipedia, but Wikipedia, you know, we're one of the only places to put this in.
Wikipedia, the fountain
3 places
of
I
all
found
knowledge, isn't
talking
it?
about it.
The interesting thing with Wikipedia is they're always anonymously updating a couple of months of anything you look at. It's very strange.
Like to change everything for us, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
It's amazing that that bit there turned into a round bit.
What is
Nice
an oyster?
rabbit.
Yeah.
Here. And there's another picture here, and I found this one interesting because it shows that that's Berlin, there's Amsterdam, London. They're all basically in a line.
Basically, it's the Euro Route 40, the E40, going more or less directly east in a straight line. So that still checks out, because I've actually driven that route.
And also, it's really strange is they're showing us the changes that are happening here, but they're not showing that this must have all done the same thing.
Well, we don't know what to believe with it, really. They're giving us some information, a mixture of truth, a mixture of lies, distort half-truths with everything.
We don't know what's true or not true anymore. We can't rely on our history, can we?
North coast of Africa looks a little bit too straight on those 3. But who knows?
That is a big piece of land, Africa.
Yep.
You can see that on the map. But anyway, it's just interesting, like amazing to think that we were connected. Obviously, bigger. Yeah, look at this nice round bit here that's happened here. But we were bigger, and it's very flat there, isn't it? In Norfolk and Suffolk.
On the spectrums of rising sea levels, there's only like a ridge down the centre of England that actually survives. All of Devon and Cornwall, I think, are gone. All of East Anglia is gone.
What, you mean land?
Yeah, it'll all be under the sea according to the projections.
Well, the original Chelsea, which is down here, maybe a little bit further there, is out in the sea. It's 2 or 3 miles out in the sea.
Yeah, the Sussex coastline is very shallow, and then it's a sudden drop. I remember reading.
Well, there you
about that
go.
a few years
Submerged
back.
continents. So they're saying there's a bit missing on Africa. There's land missing between Australia and Malay. You know, what do you call it, Asia.
Yeah.
And then you've got a bit of Australia missing. I'm just looking at it. I mean, that they're only showing you that. They're not showing you anymore. So I've just put that just so you can see that.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit of Australia missing.
Yeah.
And what did you say? It's not missing.
Well, it's interesting the word missing. Well, it's not missing. It's just underwater. It's a peculiar terminology.
Yeah. I mean, Trouble reckons. This is interesting. Every now and again, you get a little map, and this map moves. It shows you how it was all connected, and then it all broke up. But we can't believe anything they say because they lie to us.
Yeah, it's
because obviously Alaska and Russia do not join each other.
No, well, it's about 50 miles across the Bering Straits.
60, I think it
or
is.
60, yeah. They say
60 odd, maybe.
Interestingly, I mean, Alaska has got the reserves of oil. You'd think, if we're to believe this story about Russia versus the United States, that would have been highly defended, but it doesn't appear to be that way. It's all over Europe during the Cold War, which we've discussed before a long time ago. I seem to remember.
If you believe Google, means that we had to be more land.
But you need to compare with some of those old maps, because none of the Great Lakes are shown on the old maps, but there is this other lake further inland to the west that is missing on all the modern maps today. So
That could just be a riverbed now.
yeah,
Some rivers change, don't they?
Seems around 1624, but I mean, I'd have to look at all the old maps and check the dates on these. But there's definitely been changes with it. It's fascinating. Look at
Next bit.
the glitch line when you zoom in. It's an island off the north coast.
Above it at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going up as far as it will go.
Yeah.
It's Google 21. So
you've got the blue with the line. It's just a solid blue with none of the shadowing. But
right, we're trying it a different way now because we've had enough of it messing around. So we've got this ruler kind of effect on it, and there is sort of ice, and there is bits like it's like water, ice, but it is very strange, James.
yeah, you've got these sort of features in the blue, implying sort of ocean floor. And as you come further south, the white line changes to a black line.
I think I'm going to zoom out just to have a look. To show you how far up above Russia we are. So we are above Russia, and then that island will be below.
Now when you come down to this lighter blue, you lose all those sort of ocean floor features, but you've got these strange features with greenish tints and greyish tints, which implies it could be ice. Maybe that is a land mass that's not been... They've left like a sliver of what is really there.
Yeah.
I guess it resembles
the H factor.
Yeah, it does resemble when you look at the land masses and the rock features. It's got that sort of look about it. If you compare it to Greenland or Alaska or even North Russia, the northern.
What are they saying then? The dark bits are darker. The ice.
I don't know what it's saying, but it seems to be features that are there that they've masked out with the blue. Because you've got no ocean floor features either side of that anymore. Where further north they were there. I mean, that looks like it's something genuine that's not been, or a little snippet. Maybe this thing that they have to tell us the truth, so that's why it's been.
Two lines there. I didn't care about that one, did they?
No.
And then there's this island coming up underneath this line, and it's an island above Russia. But there's something in the water there, isn't there? Look.
Yeah. It's very peculiar.
Look at that, 2 lines just stops. They didn't care how they slamped it together, did they?
Well,
it says 2021 there, but I don't, they don't care what we see.
I think this is what happens when you try and make something flat onto something ball-shaped. It doesn't sort of... It's like trying to get in a tennis ball and a piece of A4 paper and expecting to have no creases or no gaps.
So there's the island, and I told you hadn't noticed it before, but it actually goes through the island.
Yeah. But that line seems to follow where the international date line goes on some of the other maps. I'm not sure if it is for definite, but it is odd that they've left that sort of sliver of something that just goes on for so far.
Yeah, so I was looking, because when we looked yesterday at this, when you were first showing me, we actually found on one of these islands there's some sort of oil thing going on.
Yeah.
There's a little base there, but I didn't see it when I looked this time. And I didn't think it was on this island. I actually thought it was on the other island, but not showing it with ice, is it?
No.
Well, only the very high bits.
Very interesting, considering it's sort of in line with Greenland and things, and yet it's not covered in ice.
Oh yeah, and it's
And And this other one, it's funny, you've got the darker blue around it, and then you've got that sort of nondescript blue with no features.
With lines in it. I mean, usually there's plates on the ground in the seabed, but this doesn't. This has a blue bit around it.
Wonder if they've just edited an
And what's that there? Look. What's all that sort of spattered bit there on the left?
I don't know.
Looks like there's more land, isn't it?
Could well be.
That's what it looks like to me.
But it's funny how you've got this contrast in blues and you've got no features around it.
This doesn't have a plate round it either. This is just dumped in the water.
It looks an artificial coastline on that. It looks like it's been.
Oh, I see, because it's on a plate. And what they're saying is that blue bit, where you see all the light blue bit on the other maps, that was all land originally.
Could well be, yeah.
So that's how they're saying that Russia was joined to Alaska. Everywhere you see the blue water like that, the lighter blue water.
Seems that way compared to the old maps.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
That was land. Anyway, we're on to the next one now.
Right, this is Frisland, which is on the old maps at least till 1623. That's it in its entirety. You can see that there are towns or place names there. It's about half the size of Iceland, and it's roughly between Iceland and Greenland, but it's sort of vanished from all the modern maps. One of the cartographers that made these maps is still in business today. There it
is, down there at the bottom of Greenland.
Greenland is tiny on that map as well.
Yeah, the real Greenland. The real Greenland's that slither and the 4 rivers, and I made a video about it, that they've put the 4 rivers and Greenland together to make Greenland. There's Frisland there, another island there. It must be Iceland. It's called Island there. Yeah. It's Iceland. I mean, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it could be the whole of that. They now include that in.
But you've got.
Actually, do you know something? We're gonna, when we finish this, we're gonna quickly look at the bottom of Greenland, because this could all be Greenland now, and be that there's a tip down on Greenland. Now we're on to the third bit.
Yeah. The shape of Antarctica.
But the hidden Frisland. The hidden Frisland.
Yeah.
Although there is one in near Holland, Denmark, but we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the one near Greenland. But anyway, explain this, James.
Right, this is the so-called Antarctic. What I've noticed with this, and I think this is flipping the script again, taking those 4 land masses around Mount Meru is what they've used as the inspiration for the shape of Antarctica. A bit later on, we've got a side-by-side comparison between one of the old maps.
Yeah, at the end.
And the indents on Antarctica on this seem to be in the same places as those 4 rivers, and you've even got that tail. But of course, Google, there's the tail. Google won't let you see this.
Oh yeah, by the way,
in its entirety.
We've got all the clouds, which they've put miles up, which are not miles up, are they? Anyway. Yeah, carry on, James.
Yeah, so I mean, if you go by the entries of Captain Cook, how far he travelled looking for a sea inlet, if that was a genuine thing, then he would have gone round it about 4 or 5 times, and I think he would have been an accomplished seafarer and know that he's going past the same thing more than once and seeing the same features. But again, I mean, you can see the comparison with that. There's that tail. So
it makes sense that it's this long flat shelf of ice going across the sea, and he went from one end to the other.
Well, I don't remember if he said it was all ice. Even on this, on what they show, you've got this little area that is devoid of ice, which is green. Interestingly, I watched a YouTube.
That's it, James.
Alright, I watched a YouTube video where people were talking about waiting till 8 o'clock in the morning for the sun to come up on the Antarctic before they could do any filming at a time of year when it's supposed to be in 24 hours of daylight. So I thought that was an interesting giveaway.